What do I know? Free now going to pick up the third guess, the upper left hand. Still, yeah, he's going very rushing to tech, but expanding very heavily alongside. I got to say, somewhat reminiscent of Bisu. I feel a little bit. Bisu, the type of guy that rushes for arbors and just tries to use that tech advantage very early on in the game to allow himself. He basically delays his expansions a little bit just to get the tech out faster, and then using that tech, using his army, tries to get additional bases very quickly. But now the Dragoons are in a little bit of trouble. Did get surrounded by several mines. Still Free doing a good job. Did lose some Dragoons there, but still doing a very beautiful job of microing against those mines. All those forces, meanwhile, retreating from those Marines and tanks. Fairly large force out in the field by Light as well. He's got 4 factories, 5th on the way, so he's microing up pretty heavily while he puts up his mineral. He should be ready now for him, and I'm wondering whether he's going to try to push out and then pick up a lower right-hand third gas alongside. He has, I think, 5, maybe 6 tanks in there, several Vultures alongside, Marines as well. Going to meet up some Dragoons at the front. Vultures are going to retreat while the tanks catch up. I think Free actually has 2 different forces. Actually, a Wraith in there alongside that Science was being very effective picking up those observers to make sure the Dragoons can't attack from range. Dragoons on 2 different sides as Free continues macroing up. He looks like he's a little bit trouble. Very, very Dragoon-heavy army. This not really too effective against the tanks. Tanks are going to start sieging up against that Natural Expo with that Science Hustle, of course, also really managed allowing him to do that, while the probes are going to have to flee for their lives towards that mineral only. He's not going to be able to mine the minerals on this mineral only for quite a while. He is going to continue mining the gas, but the minerals are going to be empty for a little while. A few Vultures still planting mines on that lower ground, so he's just trying to continue this constant pressure. I'm going to wonder whether Free's actually going to be able to put on some counter pressure. Does have several Dragoons coming right into this Natural Expo. There is a decent blockade there from Light. So at the very least, the Dragoons are not going to be able to get through instantly, but Light has 1 tank at the back that's not going to be able to get through. He's going to be shelled. Dragoons actually would have been able to pick off the Natural Expo, but not without some serious damage to themselves. Arbor's not in the field, so that very early Science Hustle going to come to serious really in handy. We're going to see whether he manages to get some EMP off and EMPing the Arbor, making sure that it's not as effective. Also, EMPing the army would be very effective. Tank's going to continue sieging the Nexus. So Vulture's going to get up on that ramp, plant several mines down. Zealot, though, is going to clear it up. Nice play there by Free, but he's going to need more Zealots to run down that. He does have some Zealots out there. He's going to run on both sides with forces. Arbor to support as well. Dragoons are going to come in from the right side. Some forces from the left, not really running out. Too many defensive matrix being put down on those tanks. Only a couple of tanks left there. A few tanks below, but not nearly enough forces at this point. I feel for Light to continue holding. He's going to lose all these tanks, despite that defensive matrix and everything. So Light, at the very least, managed to break this up. Meanwhile, Light going to go for a drop at the upper left hand. 1 single tank. Free playing with his mouth open, kind of reminiscent of Stork, although, you know, Stork, he looks 10 times more sexy when he plays with his mouth open. And finally, we see Coach Joe with some emotion on his face, looking all red and yammering on. Come on, Light, come on, go, 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 because he lost quite a few forces there, so he's at least trying to put on constant pressure at the upper left-hand position. But the tanks are trying to siege up, but they are going to get picked off by those Dragoons. The Nexus stands, although a lot of probes have lost their lives. A lot of mining has been disrupted, so Light is doing a good job of disrupting economy all around. Also, I believe he's picking up that lower right-hand position. Whoa, look at all those Vultures deciding to hotkey and just get a million Vultures all at the same time. I haven't played StarCraft. Oh, God, I haven't played the damn game in so long. I don't remember the hotkey for Vulture. Oh, boy. I used to be a Terran player. Please don't be angry at me. Let's see. So Free, at the very least, Free also doing a good job. Never mind the fact that he did take quite a few forces out. He did manage to delay that lower right hand, force a cancel on it, and has 3 Arbors out in the field right now. There are some Goliaths out there, has to be careful of those, and a lot of mines out there as well. So he has to always sacrifice his Zealot to kind of clear those out. On the opposite side, Light, yeah, he's going to build up a command center and just going to float it off this time around. He didn't go for the safe route first time, just going to, I'm going to plant this thing down right here. And was forced to cancel because of that. But I still wouldn't say, despite the fact that Free is a base over, I would definitely not say he's economically ahead, because Light has disrupted his economy at all sides. But Free's definitely, I feel he's ahead in troop count, has more troops out there on the field. Also, well, not really a tech advantage. I just don't feel I see as many science vessels than I would want to see. A couple of science vessels. At this point, Light should have a lot more, because I don't think he's lost 1 single science vessel the entire time that 1 single science vessel he had. I think we should have a lot more. Should have some EMPs coming down already to make those Arbors ineffectual. 1 observer that are losing its life. But yeah, definitely feel that he should have a slightly better army composition, more tanks on the field as well. There is going to be coming in a stasis on the Vulture and a Science Vessel, so at the very least that's going to prevent some EMPs. And Free has so many forces, they can actually manage to split those up quite a bit, while Light's still forced to use that large ball of forces. Going to see an EMP go off. Did that... I think... I'm not quite sure. I don't think that hit the Arbiters. No, actually, never mind. I think it did hit the Arbiters. Actually, no, don't think it did hit the Arbiters. Never mind that. I don't think it hit the Arbiters. I think they're still going to have some stasis fields. And another EMP, I think, went off. Definitely hit one of the Arbiters. I think another Arbiter... Yeah, another Arbiter did have a stasis and picked off that Science Vessel. Free's going to move in with a lot of these forces. Some of those tanks are still going to manage to siege those forces at range. But no spotting now at this point. No Science Vessel on the air, so the only thing he has is scans. All these tanks are getting picked off. Light's entire ground force is going to get crushed. So, and the rest of these stasis units are going to get surrounded and picked off the minute they come out of stasis. Arbiters, meanwhile, just going to back off to make sure they stay alive. Observers out in the field spotting all the forces for Free. So Free's doing a great job right now of just getting back into this game. He did lose a lot of economy, but still managed to pump out a decent-sized army, kept those Arbiters in check without using them too heavily, waited for them to get the energy up, waited for them to wait until they could become ineffectual. Oh, Light move. Oh, lucky kind of for Light that there were no Dragoons down on the ground, or else that Science Vessel would be dead by now. Now going to float his Command Center to the low right-hand position, try to hold out. Going to lose a tank there to a couple of Zealots carelessly near the middle. And Arbiters running around clearing mines. That's something you don't see every day. Wait a minute. You're telling me I'm the pilot of one of the most elite units of the Protoss army, and I've been put on mine clearing duty? This is something we have Zealots for, to die and clear mines that way. Oh well. Anyway, let's see. Light gonna try to put a pressure to the upper left-hand position. Vulture's gonna put down some mines. He's got to be careful. The Zealots don't mine drag that right into the tanks. They're not gonna manage to do that, but still gonna get right into that tank line, pick those tanks off. At the very least, the Vultures did a decent job of clearing some of those probes. Not quite sure if Free actually managed to move any of those away. Light still managed to keep up a decent amount of army and putting up a lot of anti-recall defenses. A lot of anti-recall defenses, a lot of turrets. I haven't seen that many mines, but, you know, with enough turrets, you don't need mines, because the main of at match point is set up that it's going to take the Arbiters a while. Basically, as they fly through the turrets, they're just going to die before they even manage to plop down enough force to do anything much. But yeah, Zealot sacrificing itself to kill the Vultures. The Vulture sacrifices itself to kill the Zealot. Beautiful to watch. Arbiter gonna try to go for recall, but that's gonna get spotted by Science. Where's the EMP? Oh god, Science just did. Oh, finally, there's the EMP. Managing to EMP that Arbiter. Arbiter was thinking of recall, but Free's like, oh darn, gosh darn it. Oh gosh darn it. I also saw Free putting down that 6 o'clock base, so he's gonna continue trying to be a base ahead at this point. He really needs to, because having a Terran on equal bases against you, especially with the amount of harassment that has been done throughout the game, just not what you want to do. So far the way it has been like this, that Light has done a bit more economic, quite a bit more economic harassment to Free, but Free has been winning the battles. And you got to kind of pick and choose which one is more important. Depends on the situation, because I've seen that before, like between STX Seoul and Woongjin Stars, the first set in the quarterfinals. Cal was behind economically quite a bit, because a lot of harassment had been done to him by MVP's Vultures. A lot of harassment, a lot of dead probes everywhere. Lost, like, I don't know, 50 probes in total to Vultures? Probably not that many, but still a lot of probes. Definitely enough to be significant. But then he just came out, won a very big battle, killed a huge amount of Terran forces, and that way got himself into the game. It was absolutely beautiful to see. So this might be Free's way of getting back into the game, by winning these battles. Did lose a few probes, as we saw them milling down towards the 6 o'clock, being picked up by Vultures, but still has to keep this up. Still thinking of trying to go for recall, but just getting himself EMP'd each time. So he should maybe abandon that upper right hand, abandon the main, try to maybe to go for a maybe slightly smaller recall. Well, maybe not even slightly small, just go for the big recall. Just recall the lower right hand, I mean closer to your own base. But meanwhile now Light gonna send down a bunch of tanks. I think it's 10, close to 10 tanks. No, more than that. Vulture's also coming in support, so they're gonna siege up. Some of them gonna try to siege that 6 o'clock, but the Arbiters are gonna come in and gonna see stasis. Is there gonna be a stasis, or is it gonna be an EMP? No EMP. That I can see stasis at the tanks from the back. There are Goliaths in point, gonna start attacking, picking off observers, picking off Arbiters, but a lot of stasis. Second stasis and a third stasis coming off. A bunch of those tanks being stasis. The Vultures in the front also. They do act sort of a blockading building for those Zealots and Dragoons, but not nearly good enough. Tanks, still some of the tanks are going to manage to siege, but not nearly enough of them in the battle. Some tanks on the high ground there, but the Zealots going to run in close. They were a little bit lagging behind there, but a lot of Dragoons. Huge Dragoon number for free, so he's going to manage to pick most of the stuff as long as he gets it surrounded, gets in close enough to those tanks. Like Mimo did send some vultures to the upper left and try to do